challenges, in our opinion, seem to have overwhelmed our security institutions.
The governors are supposed to be the state security officers of their state.
There is need for us to at least engage the traditional rulers.
We need to do something about our porous borders.
We have to own it from the unit level to the ward level to the local government to state.
Mr. President, the importance of today for us is for us to take action.
Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
After the application of the differences in the bill as passed by the conference committee, we hereby recommend.
Senate adopts conference committee report of the newly passed PIB.
The National Assembly must do all in its powers to ensure it performs optimally.
And Senate promises support to strengthen the nation's financial institutions. Welcome to another episode of Inside the Senate, and I am Hussaina Amina Aboki, your regular anchor on the program. As it were, the Senate embarked on its annual recess and will be returning to plenary on the 14th of September 2021. Before the break, several bills were considered and adopted, top of which is the Conference Committee report on the newly passed PIB. We also have reports on the outcome of the meeting between the Committees on Legislative Compliance as well as Communications with the Minister of Communications over the challenge of insecurity alongside other matters from the plenary before the recess. In addition, Inside the Senate will bring to you a report from the retreat of the Committee on Banking which held in Kaduna. Join me after this break for details. Please don't go away.
The Senate will send a message to the President
To reap opportunities from that.
To raise a matter of urgent public importance.
And we are aware that when this particular motion comes up,
For a longer term development, arise to second the motion.
Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Welcome back. The 9th Senate, Thursday the 15th of July 2021, adopted the Conference Committee report set up by both chambers of the National Assembly to harmonize the differences between the Senate and House of Representatives versions of the Petroleum Industry Bill, PIB, as passed. The chairman of the Conference Committee, who is also the Senate leader, Senator Yahya Abdullahi, while presenting the report of the Conference Committee, disclosed that the differences observed have been duly harmonized.
After the application of the differences in the bill as passed by the conference committee, we hereby recommend that the Senate and the House of Representatives do approve the above recommendations of its conference committee on a bill for an act to provide legal, governance, regulatory and fiscal framework for the Nigerian petroleum industry and the development of host communities and for related matters 2021.
In a response, one of the senators expressed disagreement with a clause in the report having to do with allocation to host communities.
The only points I don't truly agree, as maybe a minority but express my opinion, is the 3%, 5% for the host communities. As a senator representing the Rivers East Central District, I want to say that I am not part of that vote.
Of course, we are not voting clause by clause. I'm simply going to put the question on the entire report. And of course, you are at liberty to abstain, not to support the nays, not to support the ayes. This one is your privilege.
And with this, the report was considered and eventually adopted. The Senate also considered the report of its Committee on Legislative Compliance on the growing insecurity in Nigeria, Wednesday the 14th of July 2021. The matter was referred to the committee after debating a motion on insecurity, Wednesday the 25th of November 2020, with the resolution to invite the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Isa Ali Pantami, to impress on him the need to implement the Senate resolutions regarding security mandate of his ministry. Presenting the committee's report, Committee Chairman Senator Aderele Oriolowo disclosed that the minister informed the committee of past errors that threatened the nation's security as well as actions adopted to rectify, amongst other things.
He noted, though security is not the direct mandate of his ministry, it has always been supporting the institutions responsible for security in Nigeria. The attention of the Joint Committee was pointed to a fundamental mistake in the development of telecommunication services in Nigeria in 2001, when SIM cards were issued without a requirement to register the owners. This mistake was not rectified until 2009, when it became necessary to register SIM cards. To rectify this mistake, the ministry in 2019 directed the Nigerian Communication Commission that all unregistered and improperly registered SIM cards should be blocked from all telecommunications networks in Nigeria. Despite these measures, the ministry observed that some SIM registration agents compromised the process for service and monetary considerations, while some criminal and kidnappers have also changed tactics by using phones of their victims, since the owner of the registered phone can easily be identified.
He added that the minister disclosed that several programs have been put in place by his ministry to complement the nation's security agencies, with one of them being the new revised Comprehensive National Digital Identity Registration launched by President Muhammadu Buhari on the 6th of May 2021. Amongst the recommendations of the committee on the report were that the Senate appeals to the executive arm of government to implement the resolutions of the National Assembly regarding the security architecture of the country, as well as urges the Federal Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy to submit proposals for legislative actions to any section of the extant laws of any of its agencies towards reducing the nation's security challenges. Meanwhile, the following bills scaled first reading shortly before the Senate proceeded on its annual recess, Thursday the 14th of July 2021. They included Climate Change Bill 2021, sponsored by the Senate leader, Senator Yahya Abdullahi; Federal College of Education, Basambiri, Bayelsa State, Establishment Bill 2021, sponsored by Senator Degi Eremio; and Federal Bureau of Forensic Services Regulation, Establishment Bill 2021, sponsored by Senator Francis Ali Mikena. Others were Federal Polytechnic, Shagamu, Ogun State, Establishment Bill 2021, sponsored by Senator Olalekan Mustafa; National Food Bank of Nigeria, Establishment Bill 2021, sponsored by Senator Orji Uzokalu, as well as National Institute for Sports Act 2004 Amendment Bill 2021, sponsored by Senator Ibikule Amosun. Let's now take a short break for the notebook segment. Don't go away.
Bill referral is the forwarding of a draft bill to a committee under which purview its subject matter falls. This is so that the committee can carry out more legislative action on it. Irrespective of who or where the bill originates from, such actions are taken after the second reading of the bill. The committee is given a period within which to work on the bill and report back its findings to the Senate.
The only way out of the pandemic is for the population to observe the recommended measures advised by the NCDC. The Senate Committees on Health and Primary Health Care and Communicable Diseases will continue to engage with the Federal Ministry of Health and the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19.
Welcome back. One of the committees on duty before the Senate proceeded on its annual break, Thursday the 15th of July 2021, was the Committee on Public Accounts. Not sparing even its own, the committee hosted the management of the National Assembly, led by the Clerk of the National Assembly, Mr. Amos Ojo. He appeared to honor the committee's invitation but later sought to be excused due to some exigencies. Committee Chairman Senator Matthew Urogide commended this action by the clerk.
I want to commend your very good efforts, the efforts of NAS management, finding time to come in here to appear before this committee. There are no sacred cows in Nigeria when it comes to the issue of accountability on spending public money. It is good that you have come We have been able to typify good example before Nigerians, no doubt about this. And it is for them to know too, that charity begins at home.
With this, the clerk took his leave after handing over to the National Assembly's Director of Consolidated Accounts in charge of coordination and queries, Mr. M.D. Saidu, to respond to the queries of the Auditor General of the Federation, read out by his representative at the committee, Mr. Omololu Agesin.
During the audit of the accounting records maintained at the National Assembly and its agencies, it was observed that A, that's for the management section now, under the general services, capital accounts, payment vouchers for amounts totaling 417,312,538 naira 79 kobo raised for settlement of some contractors were without vital supporting documents. This is a violation of Financial Regulation 603 sub 1, which provides that all vouchers shall contain full particulars of each service as to enable them to be checked without reference to any other document.
He responded on oath.
The query raised, we have already attached the supporting documents. They are in our appendix from pages 1 to 58. That's appendix 1 in our compilation.
Vice Chairman of the committee, Senator Ibrahim Hassan Hadeja, who later took over the committee's proceedings because the chairman had to attend to another function, offered a word of advice to the management.
Let's try and cooperate with auditors when they come, have their audit, have a pre-audit, post-audit conference where all the knotty issues will be sorted out. And then we reduce the amount of things that will come to the public account. We sit here every day for hours on end, and at the end of the day, you find that most of these things do not necessarily have to get here.
Accordingly, the query was vacated. Outside the National Assembly, the Committee on Banking and Other Financial Institutions held a 2-day retreat in Kaduna that spanned Friday the 16th and Saturday the 17th of July 2021. It was jointly organized by the committee as well as some financial institutions under its purview, namely Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, as well as Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, AMCON. Friday the 16th of July 2021 saw the committee hosting the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC. Welcoming the management of the corporation, Committee Chairman Senator Obasani described the retreat as timely, particularly in this period of a stressed economy occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic.
The role of NDIC in this process will be brought to the fore, and its experiences, particularly since the COVID-19 pandemic, will be shared and lessons drawn. Strategies will be mapped out to further strengthen NDIC and reposition it to contribute even more effectively to the economic recovery efforts. NDIC is a strategic institution that the National Assembly must do all in its powers to ensure it performs optimally. It is therefore imperative to ensure the existence of robust and positive relationship between the key players in the financial sector for the achievement of speedy and sustainable economic growth and development.
In his address, the Managing Director of the NDIC, Mr. Bello Hassan, explained that deposit insurance system is a very important component of the financial safety net, which compensates depositors in the event of banks' failure to meet their obligations, adding that it ensures that depositors don't lose their deposit held in banks if the banks become insolvent, as well as adopts action against cyber insecurity and breaches, amongst other things.
The mechanism is an important means to gain public confidence in the banking system and achieve financial and banking system stability, which is one of the most important elements of economic growth and development, especially in a developing economy like ours. Losses due to cyber attacks not only affect individual banks, but also pose damaging risks to the entire financial system with serious implications for economic growth and development. At this juncture, I am pleased to inform you that the corporation, in collaboration with other key stakeholders, have been proactive in managing the risk associated with cyber insecurity. The NDIC has taken important steps at ensuring safety of the Nigerian banks and protection of depositors in line with its core mandate. For instance, the NDIC in 2020 established FinTech and Innovation Unit to effectively respond to the challenges of cyber threats, among other challenges of the FinTech innovation.
Giving a historical background of the NDIC in a goodwill message, the chairman of its board of directors, Mrs. Ronke Shokefon, disclosed that it was established by the NDIC Act No. 22 of 1988, now repealed and reenacted by the NDIC Act No. 16 of 2006. Her representative at the retreat, Mr. Mudeshiru Mustafa, highlighted some of its powers.
Established as a risk minimizer, the corporation is empowered with comprehensive mandates and powers to provide limited deposit guarantee, deposit reimbursement, complementary supervisory oversight, resolutions and liquidation activities on licensed deposit financial institutions in Nigeria. The operation of the corporation, therefore, through deposit reimbursement, helps to protect depositors and offer a measure of safety for the nation's banking system. The corporation has, in the last 32 years of its existence, made tremendous effort to enhance public confidence and promote financial stability in the country through the fulfillment of its mandate. I'm happy to inform you that the NDIC is actively collaborating and cooperating with all relevant stakeholders to effectively manage the ensuing operational risk and ensure that the national banking industry continues to be safe, sound, and stable by effectively managing the risks associated with cyber attacks.
The rest of the session with the NDIC was held behind closed doors. Still on the retreat by the Committee on Banking and Other Financial Institutions, Day 2, Saturday the 17th of July 2021, saw the committee hosting the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, AMCON. The committee chairman, Senator Ubasani, in a welcome address, spoke on the role the National Assembly has played to strengthen AMCON's legal and institutional framework to enable it to contribute optimally to the nation's economic recovery and stabilization efforts.
The National Assembly amended the Act in 2015, 2019, in 2015 and 2019. In response to the impact of the COVID-19 on AMCON's policies and processes, the Senate amended the Act in 2021 by extending the tenure of the Resolution Cost Fund and also empowered AMCON to assess a special tribunal established by BOFIA 2020 for dealing with financial-related matters. This is to reposition AMCON for optimal debt and asset recovery performance.
Also speaking, the AMCON chairman, Mr. Ahmed Lawal Kuru, stated that even with the successes achieved by AMCON of recent, some challenges, amongst which is the absence of interagency synergy, are hampering its asset recovery endeavors.
Part of the challenge that you find with what we are doing currently is that even the interagency relationships is also a challenge. Currently in AMCON, we sit on quite a lot of oil and gas assets that in a normal situation, we should be able to sit down with NPC and see how to put those assets into use. We've tried to do that in the last 4 or 5 years. It has not succeeded because it is again dependent on the attitude of the CEO of that agency. So there must be a framework that can bring all these agencies together to tap into some of these assets that are being held by AMCON. I don't need to go into the aviation industry, where again a lot of synergy would have helped in building a national cohesion through a single asset that will help the industry.
Another challenge, he said, is that AMCON was faced with the purchase of about 12,700 non-performing loans worth about 3.8 trillion naira as a result of the 2008-2009 financial crisis, out of which 1.7 trillion was paid, leaving the balance pending. He added that if the assets in the form of non-performing loans recovered by the corporation are to be disposed of, it would generate over 1 trillion naira, but at an expense higher than that amount. A committee member was uncomfortable with this, alongside the issue of absence of synergy with other organizations.
All the assets you currently have, if you are to dispose of them, you will manage to get about 1 trillion naira. Meanwhile, the liabilities as is stand at over 5 trillion naira. To me, that is shocking. Did we perform due diligence before these non-performing loans were acquired, or it was just government decision to acquire all these loans, irrespective of whether they were too bad that you believe they could not be recovered, knowing our Nigeria situation? Secondly, how do you think you can improve on the synergy, on collaboration between AMCON and other organizations?
Yes, due diligence was not done immediately, but there was problem with clawback. But even the clawback have issues, particularly when it comes to the 2.2 that has to do with the financial accommodation. And if you recall also, around 2012, there was a budgetary provision of around 500 billion during the time of President Erdogan. The provision, the plan then was every year they will be providing 500 billion to cushion the financial accommodation. But even the first 500 billion naira was not legislated, was not passed. So the whole thing was now transferred to AMCON as one entity.
Next was a comment on some of the reasons why loans go bad and ways to address it. It was from Senator Yakubu Oseni, a former banker and financial manager.
In most cases, a loan could go bad not only because the person is reckless or is dubious. Most of these happen maybe some due to business failure and all that. And most of the collateral also might not be properly perfected. That is why we don't hesitate to give parliamentary backing, so that wherever you need to foreclose any property at all, we'll give you the legal backing and legislative backing, so that you can really do what you need to do.
With this, the retreat came to an end with a resolution that the committee, the two institutions as well as the nation's banks would work in synergy to further stabilize Nigeria's financial system to build more confidence in the hearts of Nigerians. Our profile segment is next. Stay tuned for our Senator of the Week.
Senator Danladi Sankara represents Jigawa Northwest Senatorial District on the platform of the APC. He holds a PhD in Public Administration, a senior fellow of the Institute of Professional Managers and Administrators, IPMA. After joining politics, he held the positions of ex-officio member of PDP in 2001, chairman PDP Committee of Elders in Jigawa State, as well as vice chairman of PDP in the Northwest Zone in 2008. He resigned and contested to the Senate in the 2011 general elections and won. He contested again in the 2019 general elections, this time under the APC, and won. Senator Danladi Sankara is a member of several committees in the Red Chamber. Back home, Senator Danladi Sankara holds the traditional title of the Latun Ringim in the Ringim Emirate Council of Jigawa State. His legislative interests are education, agriculture, security, ICT development, as well as youth and women empowerment, amongst other things.
With this, we come to the end of this week's episode of Inside the Senate. Join us next week for another edition, and thanks for watching.